Hello everybody, and today we are here with another board game review. Today we'll be reviewing Last Message.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we'll be telling you that why you should play Last Message. It's a drawing game about murder and mystery and finding the murderer through the hints that
Why
are
do you
left.
say murder like that?
Murderer through the hints that are left by the murdered person, which are not always very clear because the clues are being eliminated by the murderer.
Alright.
So let's see how it plays. Now, this game is minimum for 3 players, and the maximum limit is, I think, 8 players. So 3 to 8 players. The minimum requirement is 3 because one guy will be the murderer, the other will be the murdered person, and the third one will be investigator. If you have more players than that, then all of them will, the extra players will go on the investigator side, but there will always be, there will always be just one murderer and the one murdered person who cannot speak. So
Because they are ghosts.
yeah, and the murdered person will be leaving hints in form of some drawings. The murderer will be eliminating those evidences, that is, he will be erasing those drawings, and then the investigator will be checking those partially erased drawings to try to figure out that in the crime scene which one is the murderer, because what you have to find out is that who the murderer is. There is a more difficult mode of the game available as well, in which instead of finding the murderer, you have to find the murder weapon instead. But yeah, that's even more complex. So let's understand how the game works. Since we'll be demonstrating with just 2 players, so it will not work in the same way, but I will tell you how it works. The game comes with a player shield as well, because whatever the murderer, so Ishal is, for example, handling the murderer and the murdered person, they will be on one side of the shield, and all the other investigators will be on the other side of the shield. What they will have on a common is the same kind of picture. I will just have, the investigators will just have a bigger picture so that they can see more easily, whereas the murderer and the murdered person have a smaller picture of that universe. Now, the game does come with a lot more universes for you to explore. There is an alien planet, there are some Stone Age kind of people, there is cowboy themed, there is a zombie themed one.
I think there's like a playground somewhere.
Yeah, so there are different 6, I think, themes here available, which you can try out. These are Stone Age people. So there are 6 universes that you can try out. So for example, on the table, I have right now the superhero universe available. And you will not be able to see really clearly what's on there. But how the game works is that, first of all, the murderer is going to use this mirror thingy to actually place on one of the characters behind the shield. They'll place on one of the characters that this is their character. So the murderer selects their own character, that who they want to represent. And now the murdered person, so for example, Ishal is playing the murdered person, has to draw features about the geography, about that character, about whatever they want, to give the hints to investigator, to leave the hints for the investigator that who murdered them. How those hints will be drawn or even written. You can even write things, you can write even whole paragraphs on these sheets. There are 4 sheets. But at a time, you will be using only 1 sheet per round. So the 4 sheets are for the 4 rounds. So in the first, they will be drawing or writing anything they want. The only limitation is that you cannot draw the same thing multiple times on one board. Similarly, you cannot write the same thing multiple times on the same board. So for example, if she wants to give the hint about a red character, she cannot write red, 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 red. That's not how it works. Secondly, these graph lines don't affect the murderer, uh, don't affect the murdered person. They can draw any way they like. They don't have to confine within one box. They can make a picture as big as they want, draw multiple things. They just have to confine with the timer, because they have to draw this timer will flip, and they have to draw within that time frame, or write within that time frame, or do a combination of both until that timer runs out. And then, so for example,
I can make a whole nother game with this.
So for example, Ishal is going to take a look and draw something that, okay, the character is, for example, flying with a cape. I don't know how a flying person looks like.
You know what? At least you know it's flying.
So flying, red. So maybe that's what she drew. And once she is done, or the timer runs out, which will most probably be the case, that the timer runs out. This is the original hint, which currently is not with the investigators. So this is going to tell that it's a flying person in this kind of pose, and it's a flying character and a red person. But now comes the turn of the murderer. What the murderer is allowed to do is erase 5 of these boxes. He is limited to these certain boxes. So he shall erase 5 of these boxes. The investigators still have no idea what was originally drawn and what are the specific things that the murderer is going to erase. And that's where the strategy of the murderer lies, as well as the murdered person, because the murdered person knows that he can eliminate only specific boxes. So what he will try to draw is actually things that are on a larger scale and are covering multiple boxes, so that even if one box is erased, the other box still has something left inside. Hopefully. Are you done with the 5?
Yeah.
And this is the beautiful artwork that I am left with, which is not going to tell investigator anything at all, except that there is some worm-like thing on this picture, which is the murderer. That's round number 1. Now, in round number 2, same thing is going to happen. Again, new hint. Now, this information is known to everyone, that information has already been received by the investigator. Now, the murdered person can try to draw other things other than this worm to help figure out. But this time, the murdered person has even shorter time, and he will only eliminate 4 boxes. In the next round, he will eliminate 3 boxes. And in the last round, he will eliminate 2 boxes. So the chances for the murdered person to actually erase things will slowly lower down as the timer goes on. Draw something. So again, timer will flip. Ishal, as the murdered person right now, is going to draw something
I don't know what
or write something that is going to help tell me that who that person is. Then will come the turn of the timer is about to run out. Now, this also comes with the strategy of the murderer, that, okay, which boxes I should leave, because that will add ambiguity to the person. And sometimes they will leave words which are really not related to the clue. So it will backfire and it will take them away from the actual hint that the person was trying to give. And that's even possible. The only limitation, stop, you cannot delete anything, do anything more. So this is now,
Can't see.
this is now the next hint. So it's a tied up person, red tied, so it's a tied up person, upside down, and that's the hint that. But the murder person can eliminate four of the boxes. So one of the things I will, for example, eliminate is this box, because the
You cut off his legs.
limitation is that it must be exactly full box. Whatever it is, you cannot pick and choose that I will eliminate some objects from a box. If you pick a box, eliminate everything from that box, but nothing else. One, two, three, and four. So once the four boxes are removed, the only hint left is this is slightly still readable, red ed. So red ed is the hint that's now received by the investigators that okay, it's a worm-like thing, but it's red dead, red blood, something that has to do with the red. Then the new timer will start. Again, the next thing, three round. Now this time, three boxes can be only eliminated. At that time, investigators, because now they know they are looking for something red, they will be looking at all the red characters and trying to figure out that okay, this worm-like shape, who has this kind of features? If it is really a feature of the character, maybe they are trying to give the hint of the geography, and you can give the hint of a geography as well, because there are rockets, there are buildings. Sometimes it's very essential to give the hint of the location, because it's a huge map, it's very congested, it's very busy. And the good what you should be trying to do, or the good investigator and the murder team should be trying to do, is try to locate a location first and then go towards the actual convict person, and that will help. So there are things like searchlights, cones, dumbbells, draw those, that will help put concentration to a certain area, and they will try to figure out those specific items. Money bags are there, there are brick walls. Draw these kind of features that will help people out. Are you done?
No.
Timer is off.
No. No.
It's done. But anyway, that's in essence the game. Now we have played it one time, two times.
What?
If you are and you always have a 50-50 chance. If you're giving good hints, you will always catch the person, even though at first look you will be thinking this is impossible. But if you're giving good hints about location, about the character, you will catch the murder person. If you're giving bad hints, you will never catch the person. Even with two boxes being erased, the hints won't make any sense. And that's what the last message is all about. That the murder person is giving his last message, his last wishes, that you do catch the murderer. But
Never
would you be
let
able
me
to
be
do
the victim.
or not? That's up to you. You don't have to be really good in drawing. You just have to be smart about what to draw. This game is because you're drawing under a timer, so you will never be perfect in drawing things. So don't worry if you're bad at drawing. This game is more about more spatial awareness rather than your art quality. So Ishal, what do you think about the game?
It's nice. Actually, you know what? I really like it. I like the complexity of basically all the scenarios, so it makes it like 100 times harder to actually find the culprit, because in this one you will be repeating many words like yellow, red, blue, and there's many of those characters that are wearing those exact colors, so it's very hard to see that okay, I know this person is wearing like a blue suit, but there's like 10 people here that are wearing That's what I like about this game, the complexity of it. Overall, I think it's really nice.
Yeah, and as I said, it comes with 6 different maps. So a lot of variety. Plus, of course, the number of characters on each of these maps, especially if you look at something like this zombie map. Oh, you cannot even figure out anything.
Yeah, I'm not looking
The
at
artwork
that.
is coming from people like Stefan Escapa, Vincent Dutrait, Gus Morias, Nathan Hackett, and Vincent Dutrait is one of my favorite artists who did the artwork for the zombie one. You wouldn't recognize because that's not typically what he does. But anyway, so it's a unique drawing party game that we have here. If you're looking for something unique in your collection, a unique party game which comes with a hint of deduction, then this is really a nice product, a unique thing which you might not have seen. It's not just about drawing something and people guessing a word which relates to it. It's about guessing a character on given map. The maps, 6 maps, are really congested. You can have a variety of characters, but as you play more, you will develop some strategies about the bad thing, which I can see right now. You can develop some strategies that, okay, this is how I can give hints, which will always catch the murderer. So you can get really perfect in this. And at that time, you can add that difficulty of going towards finding the murder weapon rather than the murderer. It will still be not that difficult. I think I haven't reached that level, but I think that's where the curve is going. That if you play this game a lot, you can become perfect pairs, especially a team of husband, wife, and things like that who play this game a lot can become perfect crime partners in this one. That one on the investigator and the other on the as the murderer can always figure out how to find the murderer by giving just the perfect hints because they can develop a history with the game. But this is a party game, and party games don't get played as much as or as regularly as your other games. So if you do consider that, it's still going to be a charming game which you can pull out whenever you have friends and they're looking for something simple as well as unique to play around. So that's why these are some things to consider. Hopefully, you can make up your mind by yourself based upon this recommendation if this game is going to be good for you or not. For me, I have it in my collection, which tells I do like it. So that's it from us.
Happy gaming!
Happy gaming!